Okay, so I'm now recording just so you know that your voices will be saved forever. Okay, so this is the problem. Can y'all can see
Hold
my
on.
screen?
I'm coming. Hold on. My thing, I'm trying to get back to it. I really suck at this. Hold on.
I'm struggling
I can
too,
hear
Leo,
you.
don't worry.
I can hear your voice, but I can't see the screen. Jesus.
So hopefully you can both see my screen and see like my hands here. Yeah,
I can see. Oh gosh. I'm sorry, guys. This is driving me.
I got that problem wrong.
Okay, good.
I don't know what I did.
See if you can't follow what I did and see if that follows. You can see how I do it and then how that matches your numbers.
Okay.
So here's the problem. A researcher wishes to estimate the percentage of adults who support abolishing the penny. Great. Note, percentage tells us this is a proportion. So we know that's happening. And then the question is what, oh, oops, wrong button.
You have to ship something.
There we go. What sample, I sold some more Legos, that's what that was. What sample size should be attained if he wishes to estimate to be within 3 percentage points with 99% confidence? So question A says he uses a prior estimate. So that means I go to my options here, and I know that because it's a P, it's going to either be this formula or this formula. I know it's this formula because this is the formula for a prior estimate. So I'm just going to write that down at the top of the page. It's actually this one here, but now that I'm writing it down, I don't need it anymore. It's N equals P hat times 1 minus P hat times Z alpha divided by 2 all over E squared. Okay, so I have to find these things. I'll list them here and then I'll find them over here. I need my P hat. That's used twice. I need my Z alpha divided by 2. And I need my E. And it turns out because of this, I need to figure out what alpha is in order to find my Z divided by 2. So those are all the things we have to find. Oh, we got 10 minutes left in this meeting. Wonderful. So it says in part A, it says a previous estimate. For me, it was 0.25. So I know that's my P hat. Up here, it says within 3 percentage points. I know that's my error. That key word is within. And then my confidence level is related to my alpha. That's right here, my 99% confidence.
So 1 minus 0.99.
That's it, 1 minus 0.99. Now, I want alpha divided by 2, so I'm going to divide all these by 2. Note 1 minus 0.99 is 0.01. So when I cut this in half, I get 0.005.
Okay.
So we only have one last thing.
Mute because every time you make a noise, Eric's screen gets blacked out.
Oh yeah. Maybe I should mute everyone. Or the other thing you can do, Claire, is you can pin my screen to your thing if you click on it.
I do. I have both up, but every time, like when you're writing, if you make a noise, it blacks it out like they're talking.
Gotcha. Let me make sure I've muted everyone. Okay, there, I muted everyone. So you all are muted. You'll have to unmute yourself if you need to ask me a question. Okay, so what we found, this thing is the number that goes right here. So this is really Z of 0.005. And the way we find it, same way we found critical Z values back in the day, is we do inverse norm. Technically, this is right tail area, so we should do 1 minus, but we don't particularly care whether we get a negative or a positive here. So I grab my calculator and I turn it on and I do second variable is to pull up the distribution. It's option 3. 0.005, bam, 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 bam. And it, for me, I'm going to use the positive one, 2.576. You want to use at least 3 decimal places, or you want to use exactly 3 decimal places. So these are my 3 things. I need this, this, and this, and I need to plug these 3 things into this formula. So here goes. The formula becomes n equals, you can't see that, 0.25 times 1 minus 0.25. That's my p hat going in for this piece, times this 2.576 divided by the e, 0.03, and then all of that squared. So you can type this entire line exactly as you see it in your calculator. In other words, 0.25 parentheses 1 minus 0.25 parentheses 2.576 divided by 0.03 parentheses squared, enter. I get 1382.453 on forever. And then remember that with sample size, we always add 1 to it, regardless of what this number is. So the correct answer here is 1383. And let's just make sure I'm right. Yay. Okay, so if you have questions on what just happened, I muted you all. Do you all know how to unmute yourself?
I know how to do it now.
Okay, good.
No, but I have another question because on one of them it says, by how many times does the sample size have to increase to decrease the margin of error by a factor of 1/6? And then it says the sample size must increase by a factor of blank to decrease the margin of error by a factor of 1/6. How do I figure that out?
Woo! Okay, so we have to look at this formula. And we're wanting to increase the sample size by, what are we trying to change? The error?
Yeah, the margin of error by a factor of 1/6.
So notice the error is in here and it's squared. So if we put in a number that's, let's say 6, when we square it, it would become 36. So that would, so increasing the error by 6 would increase the sample size by a factor of 36. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Send me that question. Can you do the ask my instructor one so I can see exactly what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Is everyone aware of that ask my instructor button? Let me share my screen so you can see it, just in case you're not aware.
Yes, because I'm on 9.2, number 5. I'm stuck on that, and I don't know.
So yes, if like I'm happy to, if we might run out of class time to keep doing all these questions, you would go here and you would say, oh, it doesn't have the option for me. Well, there should be an option. When you hit question help, it should say ask my instructor.
It does in 9.2 because I didn't know how to ask you. I just
So click that. It's really helpful because what it does is it emails it to my email account, the exact question. And then we can get on Zoom and we can talk about it. We can do this very thing.
About is the second or third one and then the 9.4 you're doing right now.
Yep.
Second or third one.
I had to Google it. You did.
This is the third one.
Can we do
I
N?
just emailed it to you. Well, I'd asked the question too.
Can we do N?
You want? You mean? Well, it hasn't come through yet. Might take a little bit because my math lab they've been struggling. Are you saying question B, Theo, of this one?
That was Leela, but yeah.
Or Leela. Oh, thank you, Leela. Okay. Yes. So question B then is all of this stays the same except the formula is different. So the formula is now n equals 0.25 times z alpha divided by 2 divided by e squared. And the good news is e is the same, z alpha is the same, and those are the only two things we need to plug in now. So the formula just becomes n equals 0.25 times 2.576 divided by 0.03, all of that mess squared. So that's how you get that one.
Will you show what formula to use on that paper again?
This one?
On the one where we fill in.
Oh, on this one. Yes. So you have to somewhere note that this is the no prior estimate.
Okay, let
This
me
is
write
the
that down.
Prior estimate.
Okay.
And both of these are for proportions. There's only one for means, which is nice. So Deja, that question still hasn't come through yet. So, shall we do 10-1 now?
I got a question about the test. So can we use like our notes and stuff or like nothing?
So if I told you couldn't use your notes while you take the exam sitting at home with no one watching you, are you going to not use them?
Okay.
No, you can use your notes. I'm not going to put you in that quandary of the temptation of they're all there. I'm cheating if I use them. So yes, I think Cindy's probably been telling you should still write a reference sheet. I'm going to say the same thing. I think that's a good idea. But you have access to all of your materials